Lesson 8. Tapas. You know what tapas is? Spanish food. Never heard of tapas? The side dishes with wine? Well, this is not Spanish, this is Indian. It's the opposite. Spanish tapas is, of course, very delicious and enjoyable. Tapas is austerity, the practice of austerity. Many people instinctively or naturally have ways to practice austerity in their lives. But there are also many people who don't. Because we have a tendency to indulge in comfort and luxury. And you would think that that is a good thing. We live in a world where there's not much to be desired anymore. Everything, in the winter it's warm in the house, in the summer it's cool. We have everything we need, food, we go to the supermarket or the convenience store. Transportation is convenient and comfortable. And of course, it has made life a lot better for us. It allows us to do things like yoga. But if we have no control over our indulgence in comfort, it makes us weaker. And that is a condition that you see with many people. Many people lack energy. I think at the introduction workshop or in the first class, I mentioned that one of the most heard complaints you hear around you from people is, "I'm so tired." But we do not work hard labor jobs anymore. And machines do everything that in the past needed to be done manually with physical hard work. The laundry goes into the washing machine, you push a button and it's done. The dishes, most people have a dishwasher, so you put your dishes in the dishwasher and you push a button and it's done. To go to the 5th floor, you take the elevator. If you need to go somewhere, the bus stop is around the corner, or you go by car. The modern world provides us with all these conveniences that make life easy for us, at least physically. But the danger is that if we indulge in those conveniences, it weakens our physical body, and with that, it destroys our energy capital. Energy is our most precious asset in life. Without energy, there is no consciousness. Without energy, there is no good health. Without energy, basically there is nothing. Austerity is about maintaining ourselves, like you would maintain a car by putting in fresh motor oil and changing the filters and regularly washing the car, replacing parts that are worn out. Practice of austerity for a human being it actually literally is subjecting yourself to discomfort in order to become healthier and stronger. When you're not healthy and strong, you never feel comfortable. So actually, it sounds like a total contradiction if I put it this way. You subject yourself consciously to discomfort in order to become more comfortable. That is the practice of austerity. Everything is energy. The human being starts with soul energy. Like in the universe, energy contracts, condenses, energy becomes gas, gas becomes liquid, liquid becomes solid matter. Our body is made of that solid matter. So the soul is living in this physical body. If you don't take care of this physical body, the soul is just not there. The soul is not at home. It's not functioning. So many people have no soul consciousness because of that. Most people have no soul consciousness because of that. So we just have to accept the fact that our energy, our soul, our spirit is inhabiting this physical body, and this physical body needs maintenance. Because if we don't do proper maintenance, we become weaker, our energy levels diminish, and the soul doesn't function anymore. Practicing austerity simply means using the body for what it is designed to do. The body needs to move. So, because we have the luxury of modern life with all its conveniences, we don't get the necessary movement through our daily chores and work and activities. So we need to have the discipline, besides our daily life, to do the necessary activity to maintain that physical body and our energy levels. So we do this with yoga. Asana literally is subjecting yourself to discomfort to become stronger, healthier, and more comfortable. And that level of health that you create in itself leads to a certain level of happiness and joy that many people are lacking in life. Many people, they have everything. There are many wealthy people, established people, and yet they're not happy. But there are also people who do not have that much, but just because they're healthy, they experience happiness and joy in daily life. Happiness and joy are characteristics in the crown chakra, and they manifest naturally without superficial stimulation. So happiness and joy, which everybody likes, naturally accompany good health. And of course, for us as yogis, energy is everything. Without energy, there is no spirit, no activity in the crown chakra, no consciousness, no manifestation of all those wonderful characteristics located, deep insight, consciousness, intuition, wisdom, all located in the crown chakra. They only manifest if there is sufficient amount of relatively sattvic energy. That is why we need to subject ourselves to discomfort in order to function properly as a holistic or whole human being. For us, we practice asana, we have the discipline to sit on our cushion to reduce the activity of the mind, which is also practice of austerity in itself. economic use of thought. But there are many people that go to a gym. They're not yogis, they're not conscious like we are, but just instinctively they feel better when they exercise. For me also, I think I've told you before, or maybe that was the previous class, I always tell my students, yoga alone is not enough for me. Yoga fulfills a very specific goal, and that is sattva. It allows me to hear my thoughts. It allows me to have deep connection with myself, with my heart. Asana, perfect. If I don't do it regularly, I really miss it. I just feel different. But beside asana, I need something else. So I like to walk long walks or ride a bicycle. And before I came to Korea, I used to swim once or twice a week. In Korea, I didn't really get to swim. It's less easy to find a convenient swimming pool. In the Netherlands, there are swimming pools everywhere. Easy to find, easy to access. Because I need some, beside asana, I need some more active form. So, yoga is yoga. It has a very specific goal. Exercise has another purpose. There are yoga teachers who say exercise is not good because you're just wasting heartbeats and I don't know. Yeah, they say you are born with a limited number of heartbeats, so if you exercise or your heart rate goes up, you will die sooner. Then my argument is that when you don't exercise regularly, your average heartbeat is high. Maybe 80, 90 heartbeats per minute. But if you exercise, your heartbeat is high temporarily, but when you're not exercising, your heartbeat is 55 or 60 beats per minute. So the argument that exercising leads to unnecessary wasting of heartbeats and make you die sooner, that is just really nonsense. I think you will actually live a longer and healthier life if you have the discipline to do some regular exercise. You know, I live in an apartment complex, Shibom apartment, and with the smartphone, everything, you can measure everything, how much you walk, distance and what have you. So I live in the first flat, Iltong, and the supermarket is on the other side. So when I go to the supermarket, it's 500 meters. And coming back 500 meters. So 1 kilometer. Now why am I telling you this? A little bit strange story. But in Korea, if you live in an apartment, you have a sticker on your window, your car, right? And I live in Iltong, the first flat. And in front of my house, there is a Kwali Samushil, and there is two yuchiwons, one from the church and one from in the building of the Kwali Samushil, and there is a church. So there's a lot of traffic there, a lot of cars. There are cars that come to drop off their children for the yuchiwon, and many people come to the church several times a day. So lots of traffic. Now, I noticed many times when I'm outside with my dogs, I look at the cars that are coming to drop off their children or go to church. They are from Shibom apartment. Our apartment. That means they live within 500 meters from the yuchiwon or the church. Then I think, why do they come by car? It's not raining, it's not cold, it's not hot. Why do they come by car? Walking is maybe even faster. Or ride a bicycle. Why am I telling you this? Austerity. There are many opportunities to use our body, to strengthen our body, to practice austerity if we if we do not follow the temptation to get into the car just to go around the corner. This is kind of ridiculous even, the idea, but it happens. It's the reality. There's really strange stories, but you can't believe that it's true. I had two studios in the World Gym on the 3rd floor. And on the 5th floor, there was a fitness center. So there are people who come to the building by car. They then take the elevator, and then they go to the stair climber in the fitness center. They go onto the stair climber to exercise, stepping stairs. I would say, common sense would say, when you arrive at the building, instead of taking the elevator, why don't you take the stairs? That's a nice warming up too. And you can then use your energy for another exercise maybe. I'm just a stubborn yogi. I'm observing these kind of things. I also know people, several. There were people who live, you know, Ricentia, the apartment behind 63 building. So there's in a corner of Yoido, and there are people from Ricentia who come to the gym by car. If you walk, it's 300 meters. There is Churimkil, there's a shortcut, 300 meters if you walk. No, they go to the basement, parking lot, get into the car, come out, they have to go around Yuksam building to go to the gym, go to the basement, and they go to the gym to exercise. It's a little bit strange. Why don't you walk? You use your body to walk. It's so close by. There's also a guy who lives in Ricentia with a dog. I know him from the dog community, of course. He helped me a lot also. But he always comes to the park in his car. 300 meters from the park, Ricentia to the park. So I mentioned one day, why do you come by car? It's much faster if you walk, and it's a little bit, it's healthier if you walk. You go to the park to walk your dog. So then his argument was, yeah, but there are people in the street that are smoking, and I don't want to pass by people smoking, so I take the car. Okay. Austerity is just using the opportunities that life offers us, not always to follow the easy way, or the comfortable way, or the lazy way, and use our body for what it is designed to do. It is designed to move. And you do that with asana, of course, but there are many simple ways, daily activities that you can just integrate instead of taking the car or the elevator. You can use your body to perform the task, that to go up to the 3rd or 4th floor, or to go to the supermarket, or to the close by church or a child care center. It's a choice. That is why this is a niyama. Niyama means that you actively introduce the principle into your life, and you do that, of course, with very practical reasons to make yourself stronger and healthier. Stronger and healthier means more energy, means better functioning. It will help you in your yoga practice, in your pursuit of spirituality. I haven't explained, in the second paragraph, I wrote that the word tapas literally means strength. So that is what this is about, strength. Through the practice of austerity, you develop an enormous power and good health. As a result, the peace within you will deepen increasingly, and the power of Atman, which is the self or the soul, will manifest itself through you more and more, and in a very natural way. But it is also important not to push austerity too far, because then you violate the first principle of non-violence. And pushing austerity too far is also something that people instinctively do. They engage in extreme sports, for example. I have done it too. I have experienced it when I was very passionate about Hapkido. I pushed myself so far that basically every day I had muscle aches and everything was always aching. But at that time I needed that. I needed, because my life before was very tumultuous, I needed exercise, hard exercise, to canalize my energy, besides yoga. But that is a temporary stage that is long gone. But there are examples of this is, triathlon. A full triathlon means intense swimming, cycling, and running. And swimming is, I don't know the distance, but more than an hour swimming. And then I think cycling is 200 kilometers, and running is 42 kilometers, full marathon. So that's a whole day of intense exercise. Of course, you have to prepare for that a lot. And if you're healthy, I guess you can condition yourself to do this. But there is an extreme form of the triathlon. It's called Ironman. Have you heard of Ironman? Ironman is a triple triathlon. So you swim 3 hours, you cycle 600 kilometers, and you run 3 marathons, 126 kilometers. That's just mind-boggling. And when people are interviewed who participate, it's an event that starts in the morning, but it goes all day and all night into the next day. People are suffering. And a lot of people drop out also. But when you hear people talking about it, it's just they're kind of addicted to this extreme challenge that they subject themselves to. And I kind of understand what they mean with that. I understand where they're coming from. But that is a form of pushing austerity too far. And many people who do this, they end up damaging their body. Their ankles, their knees, their hips. When they reach the age of 40 or even earlier, it's worn out. It starts to hurt, and it cannot heal anymore. It's damaged. It's permanently damaged. So the approach to austerity is an approach of sensibility, just a reasonable approach. It also means that you do not have to avoid luxury and comfort. The illustrator of the file put this illustration here of a fakir. Fakirs are people who belong to a sect who denounce every worldly comfort and luxury. So they have no clothes. They live in the forest. They have no bed. They just sleep on the ground. And they eat only plants. Very super austere. They're called fakirs. Fakir they show their austerity by lying down on a bed of nails. Have you ever seen that? A bed of nails? mud, hundreds of nails, and they lie down on it, or they walk through glass, broken glass, or they walk on burning coal. They do that to show their level of austerity being very high. There is a story of the Buddha, very interesting anecdote, that is basically about finding a sensible approach to the practice of austerity. You know, the Gautama, the Buddha, was a prince. He was a royal family. So, but in life, as you probably know, some people are spiritually inclined. They have a natural tendency to be spiritual. They're more sensitive and more conscious than other people. Buddha, royal family, the Prince Buddha, Prince Gautama, the Buddha, he grew up in luxury and comfort. But he was born with a natural tendency towards spirituality. So he felt that his luxurious and comfortable life was killing his spirit. So the night before he was to get married, he left the palace through an underground passageway, and he joined the fakirs. He went into the forest and became a member of the fakir sect. Because he thought, if luxury and comfort is killing my spirit, I need to strengthen myself for my spirit to flourish. And he thought the answer was to become a fakir. Instead of very luxurious and comfortable, very super austere life with no comfort and luxury at all. So the story goes that he lived with the fakirs for 6 years. But he started to doubt his choice. Because living with the fakirs for 6 years, eating very austere food, drinking only clean water, no luxury, no comfort, nothing at all. He started to feel that he was damaging himself. He started to feel that his organs were failing, that his heart was failing. He realized that if he would continue to push himself to the extreme, living with the fakirs, he would simply die. So, living in luxury and comfort, he then lived 6 years super austere, and then he decided to leave the sect, the fakir sect. And the story goes that the first thing that he came across when he came out of the forest was a goat, and he drank the milk from the goat, and that was his first step on the way to healing. And it led to him becoming the happy Buddha with the big belly, sitting under the tree of wisdom. And the story is about finding the middle way. The golden mean of the Buddha is based on this story. It's not left, it's not right, it's in the middle. It's not luxury and comfort, it's not pure austerity. It must be somewhere in the middle. So we can live surrounded by luxuries and comfort as long as we also take care of our physical needs for health and strength. And I think that that's what most people try to balance in their lives. It is very important in this respect to understand that a certain level of comfort will actually facilitate your spiritual path. Because how can you do yoga, how can you meditate If you're freezing in your house because you don't turn on the heater, because you practice austerity, or because you're always hungry, because you don't eat enough or eat very poorly, or because you're tired, because you exercise too much. If you exercise too much, maybe sometimes you need it, but if you exercise too much, there is no room for spiritual development. So in the end, it must be somewhere in the middle. And luxury and comfort become a good thing if we use them and enjoy them consciously and commonsensically. Luxury and comfort can facilitate our pursuit of spirituality. But also, if you study, children, they also need a certain level of comfort and luxury in order to be able to focus on their studies. If children are needy, if children do not have a stable environment, it's very difficult for them to focus in school. So it's all about sensible approach to the use of comforts and luxuries in life. Huh? I wrote here on the sideline attitude. And during the break, I was reading that and I didn't remember anymore why I wrote attitude. But advanced yoga, if you study yoga on a higher level, in the advanced course, for example, you will learn that everything is about attitude. People complain about fatigue. People complain about depression, being gloomy. People complain about many things, basically, all the time. One of the biggest hobbies that people have is to complain about everything, especially Dutch people. Always grumpy and complaining about the weather, about and yet, if you look at the statistics, the research shows that Dutch people are one of the happiest people in the world, together with Finland. But go to the Netherlands, you will see people always complain. It's a hobby. Attitude means it's an extension of the practice of contentment. It is a choice that you make. Whatever the circumstances that you find yourself in, no matter how challenging they are, no matter how uncomfortable they are, you choose to stay calm and collected. Often when people are confronted with a sudden change, when people suddenly have a situation appearing in daily life, what happens is that people freak out. People panic very easily, and they will react to that. If it is correct, you notice as a yogi, you more and more stay calm in situations where other people react in a very disturbed way. Have you noticed this? I'm almost panic resistant. And I think you become too. Because you choose to stay calm and controlled. It's a choice that you make. But while most normal people react based on emotions, people who have functioning of the crown chakra, they always observe what they feel and how they react. And based on that, you can choose to stay controlled in those situations. When I walk my dogs in the park, people are busy with their phones and they don't see me coming, and suddenly they see my dogs and, oh my goodness, 깜짝 놀랐어요. I don't understand that, or I do understand because they're just reacting very instinctively. But there are a few people that stay calm and the same. You know, we had this incident in Itaewon where 150 people died. You know why people die in such situations? Because of panic. If people stay calm and controlled, people wouldn't die. It's the same when there is a fire. There are fires in China, in Brazil. It happens regularly in a nightclub or in a cinema. And you then read that many people die in such an incident. But when you read carefully, you read that most people didn't die from the flames, from the fire. They die because they are trampled by people who panic. So they fall down and people walk over them and stamp on them, and they can't get up and go to the exit anymore. Overwhelmed by smoke and wounded. Many people die not because of the fire, but because other people panic. So before you react, it's also a form of austerity. Before you react, first think about what you feel and why. And then calmly determine what is the proper way or sensible way to act or react in that situation. In this course you will learn asana, and you will also learn energy control. But in the future, when we do an advanced course, you will learn about mudra. Now, many people think mudra is a hand movement, those kind of things. But real mudra is about attitude. And next week or the week after, I think next week, we will start with exercises that are very challenging because they are about the core muscles and the abdomen. We call them fire exercises. We haven't learned about chakras yet, but it involves the Manipura chakra, the fire center, very much. And when people do those kind of exercises and they don't pay attention, it makes them very uncomfortable. And this is where mudra starts, basically. You subject yourself to discomfort and you choose to stay calm and controlled. Don't freak out. Don't start grinding your teeth or holding your breath. No, just stay calm and controlled and do the difficult thing. That is austerity. Practice of austerity. Staying calm and controlled. Attitude. You choose the attitude of staying calm and controlled in difficult circumstances. And mudra is in line with that principle. There's a lot of mystery surrounding mudra, but mudra is powerful because you save a lot of energy by not wasting it through panicking and instinctive reactions, freaking out in situations that occur on a daily basis. So nothing mysterious about mudra, and it's definitely not finger movements. At the end of this course, we will learn a major mudra. It's very extensive. Then I will explain a little bit more about how it works. All right. Silence. Silence is also a form of austerity. Sitting on your cushion, meditating in silence, no music, no talk, that is a form of austerity, practice of austerity, that for most people is very difficult. Most people, they have the radio on all day, or these days the TV is on all day. Everywhere, even in the shops. I've noticed there are very small shops in the street. They're full of, they used to sell the bus tickets and cigarettes and very small window, and it's full. Chewing gum and chocolate and a TV. There's always room for a TV, and the TV is on all day. What I'm saying here, silence for many people is unbearable. For us, it's an asset, because in the silence, we can hear ourselves think. But many people find it very hard to endure silence, so they always turn on the music or always turn on the TV, as long as there is some voice, some either singing or talking around. Without it, people feel weird, feel strange. Good questions about austerity? Let's have a short break.